Hello YouTube, welcome back to Weston's Toys and Collectibles. And here, as promised, I'm looking at Battle Slash and Road Trap. Both of these are Legends class figures from the Power of the Primes line. Here they are with Wind Charger. So, you can see that they're both Legends class figures. We're going to first take a look at Mr. Battle Slash here. He's pretty cool. His helicopter's not great. And it's definitely not as good as I'd want it to be, but for the size and what they had to do with these two, making them essentially have both a robot and vehicle mode, as well as combining into another robot, I guess I can see at this size why they had to make as many sacrifices. So as you can see from the front, here's the combiner port. He does have some spinning rotors there at the top. Lots of paint on the cockpit here, all this blue paint. He's got some red paint here, blue paint here, some black paint here, some blue paint on the other side with the Tampographed Decepticon logo there, and then blue paint back here on these hands, as well as on these feet. Now these guys, being from the Power of the Primes line, can integrate with Prime Masters. So I've got Alpha Trion here. We'll just take him out of the landmine armor and fold him up into the Prime core. This one will stick on back here, and that does hold on pretty well. I mean, you can see it took a bit of force to get that off. And as for him, he doesn't stick on as well, but it kind of just sits there, and it kind of does look ridiculous, so to each his own. So go ahead and put Alpha Trion back in his armor and over to the side, and we'll go ahead and look at Battle Slash's transformation. So transform Battle Slash, first you want to separate that there, and then separate these arms. Oh, you want to pop that up because there's some tabs. Separate these out like this. That'll give you a clearance to, after flipping the nose cone up, to separate the tail and just flip it all the way around like this. And then those meet in the middle here to form his waist and hips assembly. You're going to rotate the leg and then flip up the tail of the helicopter. And bring this back down so you can bring these around like this. And then go ahead and flip those around like that. Do it on the other side. Just like that. It's a hinge here that's attached to the ball joint. Go ahead and close that back up. Pop the front open, flip out the head, and then you just want to straighten the arms out. And there he is in his robot mode. And yeah, this is where you can see some of the problems that are faced by this figure due to the fact that he has to become the upper body of Battletrap. These hips are clearly the shoulders for a larger robot. There's no putting it past that. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's not very good for creating any kind of illusion. So yeah, he does have some decent articulation. His head rotates all the way around. It's just on a swivel. I actually believe it's pinned, if I can pop. Nope, it's a mushroom peg. So he's got a mushroom peg head. The arms are very weird. They come forward like this on that ball joint. Traditionally the ball joint will be on the inside here, and then the arm would go around it. Well, it's on the back. So his arm can go up that high, and then it can swivel all the way out like that. So that's really strange articulation for a transformer. And then he's got this bend here, mostly for transformation. But I guess if you want him to kind of do like a monkey dance, you can hoo hoo ha 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 hoo hoo ha ha. So yeah. And then he's got these ball jointed elbows, which are alright. The proportions here I don't like, because the forearm seems extremely short while the upper arm is very long. Also, it has this cut here that makes it almost seem like it should have a bicep swivel, but there's no swivel there. They could have incorporated one, theoretically, but it's just one solid piece. The hips, I mean, you can go forward all the way, and this is where you run into problems, because you try and manipulate the hips, and this whole crotch assembly just pops apart. They don't go back very far unless you move them around the kibble. So he does have a swivel here. They do go out quite a ways, but at the expense of popping this open. And then he's got the knee, and it's on a ball joint, so it swivels. And that's pretty much everything for this figure. He's got basic articulation for a Legends class figure. So I'm gonna get a comparison in here. And here he is again with Wind Charger. So you can see he's the same size as every other Legends class figure in this line. Taking Wind Charger off to the side, we can go ahead and put him over here and take a look at Road Trap. Road Trap is a very nice, a very nice update to the G1 vehicle, which is based on a Ford F-150. Guessing an 87 model or somewhere around there. You can see he's got like a Ford grille from the classic vehicles. You can see visible head syndrome underneath there, and you can see that his head's attached to a crotch. That's not awkward at all. I do like the way these struts are for the wheels, how they pop out like that for when you're transforming, and they lock the hand in place, sort of. He rolls very, very smoothly. But this is clearly just the chest of a robot, just sitting on top of a car. Like, he's done. Anyway, to transform him, flip these out and go ahead and pull the arms out, and they peg in here and here, and when you flip it around, this peg will go into a slot inside the armpit. Go ahead and straighten this out, flip out the head, and then you want to take this whole assembly here and try not to split it apart. But you're going to take this whole assembly, and there's double mushroom cap armatures in there. Oh, no, there's just one mushroom peg, the other one's pinned. Anyway, that just rotates up, and it kind of sits in place. Kind of push everything back together. Go ahead and take the windshield and pull that up, and then you can take the rest of the foot, and then you want to flip these back up and then split his legs. And there's Road Trap, and he looks pretty good. He's all torso clearly here. Here he is with his buddy. And here he is with Wind Charger. So you can get this scale here. He looks like he's slightly taller than Battle Slash. And I think he's slightly taller than Wind Charger. So he is a bit taller, just like a couple millimeters, but he is bulky. Like, side to side, he is just like chunk. I mean, he is a bit chunky too here, but this guy is just solid block of chunk. Unfortunately, this guy has this split all the way up the middle because of what he has to do for a combination. But he does have pretty good articulation. His head is on a mushroom cap again. So it goes all the way around, but no real other articulation. You can kind of fake it by pulling this back. But it just kind of breaks up the sculpt and frankly pops him in half like that by moving that. Arms are on ball joints. This time they're centered where they need to be rather than off to the back like he has. They're actually attached to the side of the torso. And then you can rotate his arms all the way up like that. They don't rotate back due to this hinge here hindering that. But I mean, my arms don't go that way either. Oh, I guess you can get it like that, but then his elbow's on a ball joint, so it can just go everywhere. Down here, he has no waist swivel at all due to the way he has to transform and combine. But he has ball jointed hips, so you can get full Monty. And he can get the full Van Damme. So that's pretty good. Knee bend with a ball joint, so it rotates at the knee as well. And then this, if you want to call that articulation, it can be useful. So if you want to put him in a running stance, and that's also why this is a bit useful, because you can take this and kind of get him into a running pose with his foot slightly off the ground, which works. And if you want to close up that gap there, you can just push that down. So a lot of moving parts on his feet, and that makes it better, honestly. Now the main event is making these guys combine into one. So we'll leave him off to the side for a minute. And basically, you want to try and transform this guy, or half transform him back into truck mode. So you want to just kind of put his feet as close together, that way you can put those down without breaking anything. And now he's some kind of weird horrific monster. Go ahead and take his arms, fold them back, just tap them in place. It's kind of clumsy the way his arms go back there, but that's the only place they can put him. And there he is as a very angry pair of legs. So go ahead and sit him off to the side now. Wow, I've been rolling for 14 minutes now. Doesn't seem like that long. Anyway, Battle Slash, we're not going to waste any time here. Go ahead and pop this open. Pop this open. You'll flip this head in. Flip this head out. Close this back up. You're going to put his arms back here. Just leave them how they are and just put them back. Like that. You can close that up now and then bring his legs all the way out. And they tab into the sides. Just like that. His head tabs down. They're very tiny tabs right here on the bottom of his neck for his other head. They just tap on there. And then go ahead and rotate this back. And there's his upper torso form. And then they just pop together like this. And there is Battletrap. All merged up. Go lift the camera so you can see him. And I showed him off in the other video, but here he is with flywheels. Go ahead and put flywheels back there because we'll need him in a minute. Articulation, he has head swivel, up and down if you want to call, or down if you want to call that articulation. Ball jointed shoulders, so you can get out to here. You can get out to here if you use that hinge. Ball jointed here. It's all basically the same joints as Battletrap's legs, or Battle Slash's legs for Battletrap's arms. For the waist is articulated on Road Trap's head on his neck joint. You can kind of fake a ab crunch out of that, but it does break up the skull pretty bad back here. Let's see. But from the front it doesn't look too terrible. And then hips, ball joint. Got thigh swivel here, and the knee is incorporated down here as basically it's Road Trap's hips are the knees for this mode, and you can get his leg out like that. It doesn't look very good, but it's not very graceful. The ball joint is now his ankle, so you get a slight rocker out of that, and then get that kind of tilt back. It does pop the sculpt apart there, but and then you can use that still. It's not great. He looks good, but his articulation isn't great. And honestly, I usually just have him standing on the shelf, just kind of like this, or I'll pop the rotor off his arm here. It's just on this mushroom thing there. I'll pop that off and I'll slide it into his hand as a sword. Anyway, finally, we can go ahead and show how these guys can interact, because the head of Road Trap, I keep getting them mixed up, and this port here are the same shape, or a similar shape. They're the same size. You can swap their upper bodies, or you can make them trade pants, whatever you want to call it. So you can go ahead and take Road Trap's head, stick it in the slot on Flywheels' torso, and you can take this block and stick it into the combiner slot on Battle Slash, and there they are. And now you can see that Battle Tread, I guess we can call them, or not Battle Tread, but Battle Wheels, and we'll call this Fly Trap, I guess. Anyway, you can see this one's taller when they were the same height. He's now taller. That being said, they both still keep the same articulation as their separate parts did. This looks a bit weird because he's just got this really wide waist. It's like really narrow, and then it goes into a wider one. This one doesn't look too bad because it just kind of V's down. It actually looks very heroic when he did look kind of chunky. So that's basically how these two can, geez, I didn't want to let go. These two can interact in that way, similar to how the G1 figures could mix and match the different vehicles. So that has been Battletrap. Battle Slash and Road Trap combining into Battletrap. He's alright. If you get him, you will want him as his partner, but if you're not going to get these guys, if you don't have any connection to the characters, I wouldn't worry about getting this guy. He's alright, but he does have a lot of flaws. I do definitely prefer this method of doing things as opposed to this method. Just a combiner at this scale with 2 Legends class figures, it doesn't work, honestly, in my opinion. He's got all this kibble back here, just arms hanging off of him. He's got 6 arms just hanging off. 2 of them where they should be because there used to be legs. So he's got these 4 arms just dangling there. It really hinders the articulation in the legs because of these arms being here. And then the waist is alright because those arms kind of stay out of the way, but this rotor, I mean, you can pop it off, which is what I normally do. Like that. Be careful not to break this part, but I usually just pop it off and then like stick it in his hand here. And then he's got a sword. So he's got a sword. Mostly because neither of them came with weapons. Neither of the 2 Legends figures there came with weapons. This guy has 2 weapons. This guy had no weapons, unless you use that. So, he's alright. Definitely, if you're going to get him, have this guy with him. He's not a very good standalone, but it is Battletrap. Don't get him very often. So, this has been Power of the Prime's Battletrap with Battle Slash and Road Trap. I have been Weston at Weston's Toys and Collectibles. Thanks for watching. I know I rambled a bit, but I couldn't really I can't really recommend this thing. He's alright. He's okay. He's a placeholder until we can get, if we get something like this, but like this, if you know what I mean. So thanks for watching. Have a nice day. And subscribe. Hit that bell so you can get notifications. Oh, here he is with that Legends class again. But yeah. So thanks for watching. Goodbye.